Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is a digital asset space. Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everyone is doing well and doing outstanding and doing swell. Holy cow, I do have 3 of them up there. We're just going to have to go with that for now. Let's see. Hope you guys are doing outstanding. Let me see, what can I get? Yeah, there we go. So what is going on, guys? Let's do this. Look at the chat popped up right away. That's always great to see. TJ Jackson is first. No, actually almost first. What's up, TJ Jackson? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, guys. Tuesday night, I gotta tell you some interesting stuff I found out today. It's a really, really great stuff. I just think ultimately, I think this video I'm going to share with you guys is really, for me, it's kind of that thing that you show people when they say that, Ripple is working with the banks or helping the banks and, all this kind of mentality instead of really getting the bigger picture to what Ripple ultimately is looking to do. I'm going to share some stuff with you guys from Brad Garlinghouse and Glenn Hutchins at Davos in 2019 that I think is absolutely outstanding. Also going to share some more stuff with you guys from that guy, George Gammon. George Gammon, I believe his name is. The guy who keeps talking about the IMF, the IMF and their ultimate plan with ESDRs. I'm going to share that with you guys. I think it is pretty profound. And we have something from a lawyer that Stuart Alderati actually mentions on Twitter that we should take a look at. So we're going to go over that as well. Guys, I can't get on the freaking Celsius app to see what's going on with the Matic. What's going on with Matic right now? You guys own some of that Matic? I can't log into my Celsius app. Celsius right now, just to let you know, I love them. I'm an ambassador for the platform, but they are up to their eyeballs in work and eyeballs and new downloads, up to their eyeballs and new people depositing their money onto the platform, their hard-earned crypto, and they're just not prepared. They can't hire fast enough. And I say that with having been there myself. And I know that growing pain. It's growing pains, the growth. You can't keep up with the growth. I remember when we right, we used to get the customer service complaints, right? At one time, I mean, it's outstanding today, but at one time, I mean, there was 5, 10, 15-minute waits to get an answer, right? To get someone to come to answer the phone, right? And so I know what that looks like when you have that growth, you have that fast, you have that spurt growth. I know what it's like. We did $1 billion revenue in less than 4 years, right? So I know that kind of growth spurt and the pains and the growing pains that comes with that. And yeah, that is what's going on with Celsius. Some guy from Celsius tweeted out, I don't know if it was the CTO or not, but he was like, look, if you're seeing some errors or if you're seeing some, you're depositing and you're not seeing the deposit show and you got your confirmations on a blockchain, but it's not showing up on the app. Yeah, we're working on it. We're trying to figure it out, try to deal with it because it's growing pains. It's just the growing pains of a successful business. And I'm sure that's what's going on with this app right now because yeah, I can't log in. Can't log in. And only because, I want to see what's going on with Matic. I saw it was up 30-something% at one time, Mr. Pascal 31, Pascal 31. Yeah. So I just wanted to see what the number looked like, but I can't see it right now because I can't log in. It ain't logging in. I've uninstalled and reinstalled and I've restarted my phone and nothing. But anyway, enough about me. Enough about me. Let's get into this thing, guys. Let's see what the market is. Blockchain backers. Look, that BTC might be going to the downside a little bit. We might be days or weeks away from the 21,000 BTC. We might just be there. 32,130 for Bitcoin right now. On the 7-day, it's down 11%. Ethereum is actually down on the 7-day, 4.9%. So we shall soon see, be prepared. Uniswap on the 7-day, Uni is up 58%. Hello, Spark Token. I'm telling you, if you can see and envision what happened with Uniswap, this is what I see. This is what I see personally. I'm not giving any financial advice or not tell you what to do with your Spark Token, but this is what I see for the Spark Token. $13, and I don't think the platform's been around 2 years. I really don't. I may be wrong on that. If anyone knows the original date of Uniswap, please let me know. If you know the year, cool. If you know the exact date, cool. But I don't think they've been around for more than 2 years. I think they just had their 1-year anniversary. That's when they did the thing, I thought. Isn't that when they did where they airdropped the Uni tokens? Wasn't that the celebration of their 1-year anniversary? Or was it their 2-year anniversary? But anyway, it's $13. It is $13.62. Yeah, it's doing okay. It is doing okay. It really is. All right, guys. So let me do this. Let me say hey to the family. Coda, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Keyless is here. Hey, miss. Crypto Hippo is in the building. What's up? What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Black M Pack is here. What's up, bro? Chicago on the south side is checking in. I hear you, bro. Appreciate you being here. O'Neill is in the building. Why can't I sell XRP? You can. You just have to find the right place, my friend. Trading is still going on Uphold and BitTrue. Darren Carter is here. Take a lesson from GME. They figured out how to outsmart the system. GME. Not familiar with that. Darren Carter, how are you? Shayla Bay. Hey, Shayla, how are you? Bring the noise. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Another lady in crypto, that sounds like to me. Is that right, Shayla? I dominated the air in my chips bag. Nice. Norseman is here. Norseman says XRP is going to hit 23 cents tomorrow. We shall soon see. I like those $4 even if I just get a few hundred, I just put a few hundred down. I love it. Mario Rodriguez is here. What's going on, my friend? Yeah, there's some talk about Dogecoin getting on the Flare network, which is pretty funny to me. That's a good pain to have, LOL. That's right, TJ Jackson. It really is. Dan Robb, what's going on, my friend? I do. Dan Robb, so you like my ride. Which one did you share, Dan? Which ride did you share, bro? I do like the exotics. Bostono Locono is in the building. Peace to you, my friend. Hey, Mark Splice, how are you? Whoa. My buddy went all in and bought 303,000 XRP at 23 cents. Big gamble. Yep, the digital asset space as a whole is very, very risky. 303,000 XRP. Now, I'm trying to figure that out. Whoa, so you're saying this dude put $303,000 into XRP at 23 cents, Mark? Is that what you're saying? Mr. Wonder will say, what's up, my friend? Hey, Keyless, thank you so much. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you. Thank you again. As always, appreciate you supporting the channel. Norseman says, go Chiefs. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting little thing, huh? Interesting Super Bowl. Travis Tolliver, the Uphold app is pretty good. Thank you for that intel. Is it good? Good. That's great to see. That's great to know. I have not tried the app. I've only been on the web version. Yeah, I know. GameStop, right? Blockchain Backer today in his video kind of pointed to the GameStop thing, what happened with the GameStop. So we'll see what's going on with the digital asset space. Junior Del Giorno is here. What's going on, Junior? Inkpen 27. Wow, I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Good to see you. Okay, for 80,000. Okay, so he has 303,000 XRP and he spent $80,000 to get it. I hear you, bro. I hear you, bro. I have a guy who did that too with Zilliqa. 80 grand. Boom. And Zill. Sky Bull Houston. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. Ha ha ha. That's going to be an interesting matchup between Patrick and Tom Brady. It's going to be an interesting matchup. It really, really is. It's going to be an interesting thing. And they get Sammy Watkins back, man. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see. Dan Rob, which ride were you talking about? That wasn't yours in the Beamer or the BMW, right? Which one was it? I am curious to see. All right, guys, let's get into curious to know. Let's get into this. Again, this is something that I believe is ultimately the fight that's going on with Ripple and the incumbents, if you will. All right, let me share the screen and I'm gonna let Glenn Hutchins talk for a little bit. It's gonna be a little choppy and static, and then I'm gonna go to a better version. But I want you to hear from the beginning what Glenn Hutchins is laying down. Smart guy. He is a smart dude. Which one is this? Is this it? Yes. All right. Listen to Glenn Hutchins here for a second. Let me make sure I got the right spot.
Players that have not deposit taking and lending parts of their businesses, but all the things they get paid all these fees for.
Yeah, this is it right here. So just listen to Glenn start talking. He's talking about the incumbent banks. He doesn't, and I believe he uses the term incumbents.
People that are most threatened by all this in the short term are as Edith was talking about, the financial services players.
People who are most threatened by this. People who are most threatened by this in the short term, at least. Start it again so you can hear it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's kind of one. Two is the people that are most threatened by all this in the short term are as Edith was talking about, the financial services players that have not deposit taking and lending parts of their businesses, but all the things they get paid all these fees for. Payments, FX, custody, all those sort of things. So I think someone was talking about the cost of trust. Yep. All the things that we pay for to create trust in a transaction. Begin with a transaction in that have all these fees and there are all these bridges, people on top of the troll, the gate taking a toll each time you go across. All those can be taken out by this technology. And those are the people that are most threatened by this.
Hello. Did you hear that? Those are the people most threatened by this technology. This is Davos 2019. This is Davos 2019. I'm going to go to another video. I hope you guys, I'll play it again, but did you catch Brad Garlinghouse? Did you catch his body language? And he leaned back, looked over. And then when he gets to speak, when Brad gets to speak, watch him sit up on the edge of his seat. Couldn't wait to chime in. Could not wait to chime in to and add to what Glenn Hutchins just said. They're talking about the technology. And Glenn Hutchins says that the incumbents, not quote unquote, the depositing lending part of it, but all the other ways that they're making money in this corresponding banking system model. All of those toll keepers, those are the people that are threatened. That big, massive cash cow, that's what Ripple and its technology and other technologies represent, and they threaten those incumbents in their business model. Now, I'm going to let you listen to Brad speak on this a little bit as well, but let me do this. Let me do this and go here. And this is a better version, but this is more to the point.
Is that, to answer your question, finally.
All right, let me go back here.
That's kind of, I think, big point number one. Big point number two is that, to answer your question, finally, is that IBM didn't become Microsoft, Microsoft didn't become Google, Google didn't become Amazon, neither one became Facebook, and none of them became Uber. In other words, the next revolution that occurs doesn't necessarily, might obsolete the companies that come before, but it's all about inventing something new and different. That's a very different business and a very different opportunity set than what came before. So the incumbents aren't necessarily threatened. They're just not going to get there because they're not operating there. You know what I mean? That's kind of one. Two is the people that are most threatened by all this in the short term are the, as Edith was talking about, the financial services players that have not deposit taking and lending parts of their businesses, but all the things they get paid all these fees for. Payments, FX, custody, all those sort of things. So I think someone was talking about the cost of trust.
Yep.
All the things that we pay for to create trust in a transaction, being able to transaction in that have all these fees and are all these bridges, people on top of the troll to gate taking a toll each time you go across. All those can be taken out by this technology, and those are the people that are most threatened by this. Rather than the
Listen to Brad. Listen to Brad.
I totally agree with you. Those are what we typically call these big money center banks. Citibank is actually the largest of all of them, and they represent about 13% of global liquidity management. They make about $8 billion a year in profits.
That's the fight, guys. If you're wondering what the real fight is, that is the fight. 13% Citibank. Remember, we say this on the channel all the time. It's not the 9,980 banks. It's the Citibank. It's the JP Morgans. It's the Goldman Sachs. And this is exactly what Glenn Hutchins said. This technology is going to wipe away a good amount of those tolls. It's going to wipe it out. You can see Brad could not wait to chime in and talk about it. Citibank, this is Davos 2019, $8 billion in profit. 8 billion. JP Morgan, I saw tens of billions in profit in a quarter. In a quarter. And again, the 9,990 banks pay to play in the corresponding banking system. They're not Bank of America and Citi and freaking JP Morgan and Goldman's. They're not. That's why that's why the 9,990 welcome the technology, because it frees them from being beholden to that system. Listen to this. And keep listening to Glenn and saying how it's the different ones. It's not the borrowing and lending aspect of this. It's that aspect of this. That's the challenge.
From those cross-border
transactions. This is not deposit taking and lending.
That's correct.
Entirely different.
That is going to change. We can debate. I mean, Ripple's got a lot of momentum towards changing that. We can debate if Ripple will be successful. But as these guys have discussed, that will change because these technologies enable that to be reduced by even more than 99%. And it's going to come down to truly an internet. We have an internet of information. There will be an internet of value that allows value to move the way information moves today. Why can't I use email-like transactions to enable, a penny to transact? That's where we're going, and this internet of value, I think, will change a lot of different industries.
Guys, we got to wrap this up.
Internet of value is going to change a lot of these industries. That my friends, is the deal there. That is ultimately what Ripple represents. That's what Ripple represents. And they know it. The incumbents, the cities, the Goldman Sachs, they know it. And what they're hoping for, in my humble opinion, is just to slow down. Just to slow down. Because they got to pivot now. Bank of America, interestingly enough, out of all of those top banks that has the most patents of any of them, they've pivoted. And in fact, I believe, have found themselves a new revenue stream, a new way to operate in this fourth industrial revolution. Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, yeah, not so much. Citi, yeah, not so much. But that's where the fight is, guys. That is where the fight is. That is where the fight is, guys. Right there. That's the fight. And again, you heard Glenn Hutchins say again, not the depositing and lending, right? Because we say in the channel all the time, look, the banks may have had 10 things to do in their role. Whatever it is, lending and borrowing and doing this and doing 10 things. That's going to shrink to about 1, maybe 2, because of technology. But if you're at Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and the Citi of the world, and now the fee for this and the fee for that, who ever heard of a non-activity fee? A minimum balance fee, an ATM fee where you have to pay to get your own money. This technology in this new industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, is going to eliminate all of that. And in my opinion, they just hope to slow it down until they can figure out a way to pivot. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're hoping to do. You know, that's what they're hoping to do, is to stall it as much as they can. But in the end, that's where the fight is, guys. Let me do something here real quick. See, did I do that? Yeah, did that. Okay, let me do this now. I'm going to share another thing with you guys that I find to be very, very fascinating, guys. Anybody else have any challenges getting on their Celsius app? They're almost at 6,000 subs, guys, which is really cool. Thank you so much. Yep, there that is right there. Come on, go through, go through. Okay, so that went through. Let's do this. And we'll do this. So I hope that made some sense to you guys, because that is ultimately the deal. That is ultimately the deal, guys. Ultimately the deal. Let's see. See if this works. Does that make sense to you? Now I'm going to share something with you guys on the really, really bigger plan of what's going on with the IMF. Because that, my friends, is some interesting stuff. Let's see, why don't I used to have a timer. Sometimes that timer comes on and sometimes it doesn't come on, huh? Oh, I know why. I know why. Let's see, is this the one I want? What's this here? Okay, let's do this. Oh, okay. The silver drop top. Indeed, 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 Dan Rob 91. Yeah, man. I had one of those. The black on black for sure, brother. D. Daniel says yes. I guess that's answering the question of not being able to log into your Celsius right now. Yeah, 8 billion a year profit, Norseman. And what about JP Morgan making tens of billions in a quarter? In a quarter. In a quarter. Are you killing me? Are you kidding me? Trevor, thank you. You sent me some more tweets. I appreciate that, brother. Good to see you tonight. Victor Ancares is here. What's up, my friend? I don't know the answer to that. I would say mid-year, Victor, but I don't know. Daniel Martinez, how are you, my friend? What's good? Julian Flash is here. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Okay. Let's see how we can figure this out. What do I got here? I got that. Did I save that? Let's do that. Yep. And do this. I think I might do this all the time. You know that? Yep. Yes, see, let's do this. Holding strong as ever, says Julian Flash. I hear that, my friend. Hit the likes. That's what's good. Yes, indeed. Julian says, good. I haven't sold any XRP. What's up, Bashir? Good to see you. Neither have I, my friend. Neither have I, Julian. Neither have I. Have not done that. Absolutely have not done that at all. Guys, thank you so much. 41 people, 61 people here and 41 likes. You guys are awesome. I definitely appreciate that. It's great to see you guys tonight. I'm doing outstanding, Julian. It's good to see you. Yes, we're definitely waiting for XRP for sure. Hope you guys got a chance to diversify your portfolio. I hope you had a chance to do that. We don't know what's going to happen with XRP. I do. Does anyone find it curious that KuCoin came out and said, I don't know, maybe I don't know. That whole new XRP trading pair with USDC. Anyone find that odd? What's going on, Edward? Franz Klauski, how are you, bro? Alex Jeet is in the building. What's good, Alex? It's good to see you. Ha ha. Dan Robb. Ha. I don't know, bro. Dan Robb says, do you think part of the settlement will be to have XRP removed from the public exchanges? And once that's done, revalue it to say 10K, but no more retail holders. I don't know. I just know that we're not supposed to have it. The $64 trillion question for the channel has always been, how is it that we were allowed to hold it, if it was never meant to be consumer facing And since there are, not that there's a lot, like a lot of people think there's a lot of people who hold XRP, there's not. There's not. We say this on the channel all the time. If XRP is at $500 or $1,000 tomorrow or next time, or in April, your neighbors are not going to know how well you're doing, right? When you go to the bank, they're not going to know that you are a long-time XRP hodler, right? When you go to the gym, how many people ask you how you doing in crypto? How diversified is your portfolio, right? When you go to the restaurant, you go to your favorite place to get your favorite libation, are they asking you about how much XRP you have or if you hold XRP? No one's going to know that you're super, super well off because XRP is 1,000, right? And I say that because if they do something like Dan Robb is suggesting that they could do, just because Twitter is going to blow up, just because YouTube content creators are going to blow up and BTC maxis are going to blow up, your coworkers aren't going to blow up. They're not going to get the word that XRP has been removed from all exchanges and it's been revalued at 10K and no more retail holders can get it. They're not going to get that word. They might eventually get it from mainstream media, eventually maybe. But my point is, there's not a tons of people in crypto, and there's not a ton of people that hold XRP. It's just not. We are going to have the great wealth transfer. It's going to happen. We're in the midst of it. It's just, what do you think happened with gold when people discovered gold? Do you, right? What do you think happened then? Right? It was an average Joe and an average Jane who went out to get some gold and said, you know what? Most of those people going out and going to get gold, they're going to need a shovel and they're going to need a hammer and a chisel. And, oh, let's start this kind of business. It was a wealth transfer. The world didn't end. No one was writing to the congressman and saying, how could you let my neighbor become a multi-millionaire? How could you let my neighbor become a billionaire? He's just a truck, not just, he was a truck driver yesterday. Today he's a multi-millionaire. How did that happen? Why didn't I? Who they gonna call? Who they gonna call? Congress? What, you think Congress is gonna do something? What can they do? So I don't know, Dan. I just know that we're not supposed to have it. And there may be there has to be a plan. I don't know, has to. There may be a plan to get it out of our hands. Whatever that is, I don't know what it is. But there may be a plan to do that. Or they might just say, hey, figure out a way to cash it in. Because we got a snapshot of a lot of XRP holders just the other day. And we realized that, if you discount the exchanges and a few whales, it's just not a lot of average Joes that have it. Let's say someone they've been blessed enough to get 2,000 XRP. $2,000 XRP, that's $20 million at 10K each. That's 20 million USD at $2,000, at 2,000 XRP, 10,000 per. I know people who have millions And that's $30 billion, right? $30 billion, $30 billion. Let me ask you something. Are there any billionaires today around with $30 billion? There are. There are billionaires with 30 billion, billionaires with 50 billion, a couple billionaires with 100 billion. No one's mad at Elon Musk or Warren Buffett or what's his name? The Amazon dude, Jeff Bezos. No one's writing to Congress and saying, look, we got to take some of these billions away from this guy. He's got 100 billion. They just letting him live his life. So my thing is, if you add a few more billionaires to the list, life just is going to go on. Just going to go on. And those who didn't participate in the digital asset space, they're just going to continue to live their life. So the answer to your question, Dan, is I don't know. like I don't know. I'm hoping for something like that. I really am. I'm hoping for something like that, Dan. Jerry Wanayat, you're right, Siege. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you being here. Julian Flash, you're correct. There's no other digital asset going through this. In my opinion, XRP should have gone to zero after the whole SEC lawsuit, yet it didn't. And I believe it was Soros who said, when an asset goes through a black swan event, which should lead it to go to zero, and then it doesn't, you should pay close attention to that asset. Bitcoin is an example. Now, perhaps for us, an XRP, perhaps that's an example of something that should have gone to zero. Sean Gladden, yo, Siege, what's up? Thanks for your content, my man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you being here tonight. Guys, do me a favor. We got over 115 people in the stream, only 50 likes. Please do me a favor, collapse the chat and go smash the like so that we can get this channel out to more of us. We want to get more of the average Joe and the average James in this space. And a great way to do that is hit the like button, continue hanging out in the chat so that we let YouTube know to get this channel out to more people. Because ultimately, this is our chance to win. Our chance to win. And we want more people in the space. Exactly. It would start an economic boom because people would be spending that money. You're right about that, Dan. It's funny. Mark Splice, I'd be able to help so many people. There you go. And that's one of the things we talk about on our channel all the time. It's like, how are you going to live your life after Wind Moon, right? How are you going to live your life? Right? We talk about, for us, we're starting a foundation for inner city youth in baseball. How are you going to live your life, right? The new 1%, the new wealthy have to do things differently than the last, right? Trevor says, hoping for another 5-for-1 in XRP. I hear you, my friend. Clinton Hermes, how are you, my friend? Yeah, guys, let's get those likes up to 100. That would be really, really cool. Thank you so much for doing that. From Australia, mate, XRP, Stellar Lumen, Algo, Reserve Rights Protocol. That's what I'm hoping, man. I hear you, bro. I like them. I'm a big fan of Algo, XRP, and RSR. You're in, in my humble opinion, not financial advice, my friend Clinton, but you are in good shape. Is it 24 cents now? Okay, that works. May sneak and spend a couple $100 and get some more for $1. Barshid Chaudhry, 100,000. DWAM. M Grimes, what's up, my friend? DM says, I'm more clear on why they never speak of it. Exactly. Call the mayor. Call the mayor. Call the mayor. My neighbor's a multi-millionaire. I think he's even tapping on that billionaire thing. What happened? Why wasn't I tuned in? Right. And we all know a lot of us did try to tell our neighbor, tell our boys, tell our dudes, tell our family. We did. They weren't trying to hear it, right? What's going on, Legendary? Good to see you. I like Dan Pena's take on the wealth transfer, indeed. Keela says, people still look at me weird when I talk about crypto. I am talking about no one around me, but my bro knows or is interested in crypto, like no one. This is what I'm saying. So, you know, and I bring that point up all the time, Keyless, for the idea of a price set or a floor for XRP, 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000. There aren't going to be protesters, right? They're not going to make a mad rush for the Capitol building, right? Because that happened. For me, I'm like, you know, let me see something. Yeah, that's a good number. Yeah, that's a good number, right? You could create some generational wealth with that kind of stuff, right? And so it's an interesting thing, Dan. I don't know if we have enough XRP for them to want our XRP, or see what you're saying is them not necessarily getting our XRP, but they're going to just cut the sale off. That's it. No more selling it. Like those who were fortunate to get it were fortunate enough to get it, right? That's what you're suggesting, right? And so let me, and speaking of that possibility, let me share something with you guys that I find to be very, very fascinating from George Gammon. Let me share this with you guys. Kind of on that same note. Let's see here. Title of this video is The IMF's Plan to Replace Bitcoin, Gold, and the Dollar with a Digital SDR. With a Digital SDR. Now, he did the gold thing, replacing the gold. He went over replacing the dollar. Now, I'm talking about the IMF's plan for he went over Bitcoin, gold, and the dollar. Now he's going on what the IMF plan on replacing gold, the dollar, and Bitcoin with. And the first thing he says here, this is supposedly from Klaus in the WEF. A better option is the IMF's special drawing right, which the Second Amendment of the body's article of agreement asserts should become the world's principal reserve asset. Some, including former People's Bank of China Governor Zhao Chuan, and former Colombian Finance Minister Jose Antonio Ocampo, have since advocated following through on that plan. But I'm going to let you listen to George here. So let's take a look.
Special drawing right, or SDR, which should become the world's principal reserve asset. So then he goes on to talk about some of the potential roadblocks for the SDR. Then he talks about how cryptocurrencies may show us how the SDR could dominate the globe.
Cryptocurrencies can show us how the SDR can dominate the globe. I don't know if he's saying a particular currency, a particular crypto, or the way that crypto is being used can show us how, right?
But the advent of cryptocurrencies may offer another way. The private sector can work directly with central banks to create a digital SDR.
What? But the advent of cryptocurrencies may offer another way. The private sector can work directly with central banks to create a digital SDR to use as a unit of account and store of value. The private sector can work directly with central banks. This is on ripple.com/insight 2020 momentum just put out from Brad Garlinghouse. To continue driving fresh innovation in crypto and interoperability in payments, we're focused on tackling central bank digital currencies as the future of fiat. Key to this will be our ongoing work with central banks and developing protocols that support the direct exchange of CBDCs on the XRP ledger, using XRP as a bridge currency. And the reason why I point this out, because perhaps that's just step one. Perhaps that's step one in a 3-step plan. Perhaps a step one in a 5-step plan. But what other platform is bold enough to say that working with central banks on their CBDCs to be put on the ledger and use XRP as the bridge currency? George Gammon says in this video, and another video, he says it starts with CBDCs. The IMF will start with CBDCs, but they will move to this. That's what he says in this video and another video. They're going to start with the CBDCs. Let the central banks work it out, work out the kinks, kind of report back on how well it is working, how well it is going. All I know is D&I, Digital Nomad Investor. Definitely go follow him on YouTube, subscribe to his channel, and ring that notification bell. Has been saying this for at least a year, if not longer, about his conversation with Jim Rickards and this ESDR that George Gammon is going to talk about here. And he said that Rickards told him he doesn't know which digital asset it is going to be, but there is going to be an ESDR.
To use as a unit of account and a store of value. I don't know how the private sector would do that. I do know how the central bank and the IMF and the World Economic Forum would do that, though. He's calling this the ESDR, and it would, in a sense, be the quintessential reserve asset because it would be fully backed by reserve currencies in
And the ESDR would, in a sense, be the quintessential reserve asset because it would be fully backed by reserve currencies, something that can be done today, right now, between the IMF and the XRP ledger and the SDRs, reserve currencies from the 5 people there that get those SDRs, if you will, the main ones, the 5 top ones, right? Us, China, Japan, Euro, right? Right? I'm not sure if there's another asset that can kind of fulfill all the roles. The great thing about XRP is it can fulfill so many different roles.
And the IMF determined ratio. So regardless of who creates it, he points out that the IMF would control it. And I want to point out lastly that Klaus finishes the article, or again, I'm not sure if Klaus wrote this.
He's not a fan of Klaus or the IMF.
The rise of cryptocurrencies has created a unique opportunity. And if you
The rise of cryptocurrencies have created a unique opportunity for market forces to spearhead a shift toward a truly reserve asset. With us leadership, or is that US leadership? With US leadership more unpredictable than ever. This is apparently coming from Klaus from the WF. It is an opportunity that should not be missed. Now, George is not a fan of the IMF. He's not a fan of, the central bank digital currencies and what, the downsides or the pitfalls, right? Loss of privacy, kind of giving up a measure of control. It's a very, very interesting thing. But this has been thrown around in the XRP community for a while now. What? I ate like 99.9% of all the scallop. Yeah, I know, but I had all other stuff too, right? So this has been thrown around and thrown around and thrown around and thrown around, right? We don't know, but what we do know is, if you will, step 1 in a 3-part, 5-part, 10-part plan is happening. Like, it's happening. And this is a phrase that I heard this phrase too, a leader in sustainability. I kept hearing that coming out from the likes of the WF, the IMF, the ECB, the sustainability thing. So continue driving fresh innovation in crypto and interoperability in payments. Fresh innovation in crypto, different things that they're focusing on, just like Ashish Birla said. And we're focused on tackling central bank digital currencies as the future of fiat. Key to this will be our ongoing work with central banks and developing protocols that support the direct exchange of CBDCs on the XRP ledger using XRP as a bridge currency. So, I mean, there it is. You have to kind of make your own kind of mind up, but about such a move. But the DNI from the Digital Nomad Investor, he didn't make that up. This is a conversation, if you will, on Twitter that he had with Rickards, and Jim Rickards responded. Again, Jim Rickards is a guy in the know. He's on the inside of the inside. And this was years ago that Jim Rickard and Digital Nomad Investor had this conversation. And now we see this coming out from George Gammon and the IMF as well. And Ripple is bold in saying, transparent in saying that they are working with central banks. They're working with them. So you got to ask yourself, what was all these meetings with Brad Garlinghouse and Christine Lagarde from the IMF? What was that all about? Years ago, when Madame Lagarde was at the IMF, What was that conversation about? I don't know. But why is the head of the IMF at the time meeting with a fintech company out of San Francisco, California? Why is she in the same event, at the same event with all of the top central banks of the world and the central bank of central bank, the BIS? Why is Brad Garlinghouse at the front of the room of that meeting? Got a lot of brilliant minds in digital asset space. Why wasn't Dan Larimer from EOS, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano, Joseph Luhman or Vitalik Buterin from Ethereum? Why weren't they in the room, much less at the front of the table? Why is that? So your guy says, Mark, he said he'll hold until 10 to 20 bucks. Yeah, right. That's not a bad amount of money, right? Yeah. At 20 bucks, that's 6 mil, right? It's not about 80,000 for 6 mil. Yeah. That's not a bad return on your money, right? Right, Mark? I don't know. I mean, I just think you got to ask yourself, what is that about? Mark, did you ask me a question? Mark Andrew, did you ask a question, bro? Good to see you tonight. Oh, our friend from, I believe that's Korea is here. Yes. Yuang Jang. How are you, my friend? Yoon Jang, how are you? Yes, Coinbase does has a license to sell securities, bless Cruz. And my understanding is Coinbase didn't just halt the trading of XRP in the United States. Apparently they did it in all the regions outside of the US as well. Why? Yes, you're right, bless Cruz. Yes, and as far as prayer of relief, them not operating in the U.S. isn't part of the lawsuit. No, it's not. It's not part of the lawsuit. But it could be the sale, the future selling of XRP could be part of the settlement. Anything can be in part of the settlement, right? Michael Dobson, what's going on, bro? Right. So I ask you, why is that? Why was Brad meeting with freaking people from the right? Why is that? Man, Dan Robb says, man, they're trying to get a count of how much XRP is on the exchanges and are doing inventory right now to see how much they will have to shell out to buy it. Right? I mean, so that's another scenario as well, right, Dan? The buyback theory is another theory as well. It is. It's something that you can't just, take off the table, right? Yeah, so it's about the escrow. But why? Why is it about the escrow? Is it because they don't want a company to? You're welcome, Michael Dawson. I appreciate that. Thank you, Siege, for all you do like a boss. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Why? Is it because they don't want Ripple, the company, to become this ginormous thing? Who wants that control of that escrow? Is it merely solely just about Ripple not becoming the richest company in the world? What if Ripple gets the hammer and quote unquote, they're told they have to buy XRP back? I don't know. What price would they buy back at? Current price? Market price? I don't know. That's right, Mark. The buyback theory would only affect US investors, not the rest of the world. That's an awkward situation. Yep. So anyway, I thought that was very, very interesting video from George Gammon there on the IMF. An ESDR cryptocurrency. Again, it could be Stellar Lumens. It could be Stellar Lumens. I just don't know how they get to that arrangement, having, at least not in our eyes publicly, having not ever met. And why did they make it so public? Or why did they make it even public at all with Brad? Like, I don't know. Thoreau Inc. says the IMF will take control of that escrow. And that's another possibility as well, Bless Cruz. What if Ripple becomes a central bank, that lender of last resort? I know Miguel Diaz has used that phrase, lender of last resort, and he also kind of mumbled around, another entity or a foundation taking control of the escrow. Michael Diaz, formerly of Ripple, said that, right? Because he said, I don't know, it'd be kind of weird for Ripple to have, control over all of that, right? So that's kind of where we are. I thought that was two very, very interesting things. What's going on, what I believe to be what's going on with the US and these incumbents like Citibank and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, and what's going on globally. What is the global thing, right? Why is the WEF talking about this reserve asset in a cryptocurrency kind of way, if you will? Why are they talking about that and saying this is what the IMF should be doing? Why are they saying that? What's going on, Trey? How's it? Good to see you, bro. Life is good, bro. So that's kind of where we are, right? I just think it's two different perspectives, two very, very real things. I really do believe that. And this thing with this lawyer points out, I think is also very interesting. Ripple token case highlights the need for SEC clarity on crypto. This is by Joseph Hall. Stuart Alderati pointed this out. Some objective analysis on the SEC's complaint from Joe Hall, partner at Davos Polk, who was previously at the SEC in senior policy roles. Let me share that real quick before I head out. Stuart Alderati at Ripple, the chief counsel there at Ripple, some objective analysis on the SEC's complaint from Joe Hall, partner at Davos Polk, who was previously at the SEC and senior policy roles. And this is the thing that he put out. Ripple token case highlights the need for SEC clarity on crypto. Serving on the staff at the U.S. Securities Exchange during the era of former President George W. Bush, I was once surprised to hear gossip about the unlikelihood, inappropriateness of my appointment given my Democratic voter registration and trail of campaign contributions. And had occurred to me that regulations of securities market was a partisan matter. It hadn't occurred to me that regulations of the securities market was a partisan matter. Although a few years later, we're all less naive about the currents of debate in Washington, I still know the staff, the heart of the agency, is focused squarely on investor protection and the health of the markets, regardless of political persuasion, which, for the record, runs the gamut from libertarian to progressive. Leadership of the agency will soon change with last week's official confirmation that President Joe Biden intends to nominate Gary Gensler for the top spot. In several areas, one can predict that Gensler, the former head of the U.S. Commodities Future Trading Commission during the Obama administration, will chart a different course from recently departed SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. With luck, the agency's heretofore skeptical approach to the regulation of digital assets or cryptocurrency will be one of them, particularly with the SEC's decision a day before Clayton's late December departure, to file a suit against Ripple Labs, Inc. over its cryptocurrency XRP. Clayton took charge of the agency in 2017. This was about a decade after the invention of Bitcoin, amid the boom in initial coin offerings, or ICOs, in which developers sold coins or tokens, that is, unique lines of software code, on the promise that these digital assets will play a role in a broader solution to a real-world problem, like how to keep track of ingredients in a food manufacturer's supply chain, or harness follow data storage capacity at scale. While many ICOs were centered on creative application of nascent distributed ledger or blockchain technologies, others seem more aimed at separating investors from cash, with utopian claims about the wonders of an imagined ecosystem, which naturally would lead to appreciation of cryptocurrency sold in the ICO. In other words, some ICO promoters were essentially selling speculative common equity in startups without first registering it with the SEC. Despite being the nation's foremost protector of investing public, the SEC lacks the authority to police activity merely because investors risk a fleecing. The security must be present, and nothing in our Depression era laws says the lines of computer code are securities. A security must be present, and nothing in our Depression era laws says that the lines of computer code are securities. So the SEC took to the curious term investment contract, a thing that is needed, a thing that is indeed a security. The term was given meaning by the United States Supreme Court in the Howey case, a 1946 case dealing with the investment opportunities in a Florida citrus grove. Imagine trying to explain what an iPhone is in a language your great-grandfather would have understood just after World War II. That's how easy it is to predict which digital assets are securities under the post-war Howey test. The stakes are high for anyone wanting to build a business on blockchain technology. If in hindsight your digital assets is security, you can expect the SEC enforcement action along with fines and restitution liability that in a recent case against Telegram Group Inc. topped $1 billion. It's difficult to overstate the impact this uncertainty has on the development of blockchain. I'm going to skip over that. In the United States, outside the VCs, corporations, and major investors and banks are understandably skittish, even when a technology holds the potential to improve the efficiency of managing vast amounts of data across countless industries, or the potential for frictionless, inexpensive transfer of value over smartphones and other widespread consumer tools. Which brings us to the SEC's case against Ripple Labs. The security loss status of XRP, a digital asset used to simplify cross-border payments, was probably always going to be a tough call after Clayton's SEC first laid out its views on how to apply Howey to crypto. For which one? Hold on one second, guys. Yep, 835461. A tough call. Was always going to be a tough call after Clayton's SEC first laid out his views on how to apply the Howey to crypto. This came in a July 27 report explaining why the agency declined to sue promoters of the DAO, a virtual organization embodied in computer code and executed on a distributed ledger or blockchain. The SEC concluded that the DAO's promoters erred by not registering their digital asset with the agency before selling it to the public, as any issuer of a security must do. But recognizing the commission hadn't yet plainly articulated its view on digital assets, the agency noted that it had decided not to bring charges in this instance, but rather to caution the industry and market participants. By the time the SEC issued its DAO report, XRP had been trading in the crypto market for several years, as its creator, Ripple Lab, was a Silicon Valley wonderkind with a hefty private market valuation and a credible business model centered on disrupting the enormous market for interbank funds transfers like, Goldman's. A year later, when Bill Hinman, then director of the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance, said in a speech that the popular cryptocurrency Ethereum might have been born a security, but later morphed into a non-security. It was a fair bet that XRP would get the same treatment. In other words, maybe there were some issues with early sales of XRP, but at this point, surely XRP was in the clear, right? The SEC's decision to bring charges against Ripple Labs for ongoing sales of XRP is thus remarkable on several levels. This is a former SEC guy. First, the timing. The day before Clayton stepped down suggests the possibility of a rift among the commissioners, as opposed to a case everyone agreed had to be brought immediately in order to avert looming investor harm. We all know how Hester Peirce feels, but she's been the only one out of that group who's ever said anything. We had former SEC people say some stuff like Grunfest, but never someone in-house kind of saying, we need to be more clear. And, regulation by enforcement is not the best of moves. I like this insider guy's perspective on this. First, the timing. The day before Clayton stepped down suggests the possibility of a rift among the commissioners, as opposed to a case everyone agreed had to be brought immediately in order to avert looming investor harm. Second, whatever one's views on the merits, before news of the SEC's intentions broke, XRP traded with a market cap in the $25 to $30 billion range. Meaning that any precipitous action by the SEC would surely result in heavy investor losses, ending recently around 13 billion. Finally, and perhaps more interestingly to the securities bar, why on earth did the agency bring a case that was considerably less a slam dunk than its previous crypto enforcement actions? Barring a settlement, the Article 3 courts and not the SEC will ultimately say whether XRP is a security. Barring a settlement, the courts and not the SEC will ultimately say whether XRP is a security. There are plenty of digital assets with more tenuous use cases than XRP, any of which might have better help the SEC etch its views into federal case law before taking on a leviathan like Ripple Labs. And the commission does not have an unblemished record when it comes to defending its prerogatives in federal court. It has lost cases centered on its authority to regulate hedge funds, the reach of its regulation, fair disclosure, and its ability to prescribe corporate governance standards, among others. A loss on the merits in the XRP litigation could epically damage the SEC's regulatory project when it comes to digital assets. Again, this is the guy who was at the SEC. Senior policy roles, I believe. What do you say about that? Let me go to the chat for a second. Is that not some pretty interesting stuff coming from this guy? That's some pretty powerful stuff, is it not? I mean, wow, 145 people here and 90 likes, guys. Do me a favor, let's collapse that chat and smash the like. We want to get to at least 100 likes on the channel. That would be really, really cool. Thank you so much for doing that. Dan Robb says, Crypto Seas, these corporations are scared. Almost imagine if normal folks suddenly had tens of millions to invest, it could cause some serious problems. Is this former SEC guy not laying it down or what? I mean, wow. Pretty powerful. Let me go on here. Perhaps we will soon learn why the SEC acted against XRP when it did. But speculating over the SEC's motives shouldn't distract from the more important policy question that Gensler and the rest of the agency's incoming leadership will have to grapple with. Former SEC guy here talking, currently an attorney at Davis Polk. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. If not in the US, then certainly in the rest of the world. But incredibly, the SEC has yet to formally confirm that any digital asset, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, with a combined trading value approaching $500 billion, is not a security. A lot of people think Bitcoin and Ethereum have been given the blessing, but they haven't really in the United States. They've been given a pass, but not the blessing. There have been a few non-binding statements to the effect that Bitcoin isn't, and that today at least neither is Ethereum. And the SEC staff has said it doesn't consider 3 obscure digital assets to be securities. But as the news about XRP shows, the regulatory status of most crypto, including many widely held digital assets, remains cloudy. keep trying to tell the BTC maxis and other people in this space, they don't understand. This is about the digital asset space, not just about XRP. It's not obvious that the SEC's approach to regulating crypto should be grounded in metaphors about oranges and principles articulated in a case decided 3/4 of a century ago, which, take it from one who knows, is nearly impossible to apply with consistency and predictability across the digital asset class. Instead, it's important to step back and ask why this question matters. In other words, why doesn't the cryptocurrency market just comply with the securities laws, given the undeniable investment appeal of many digital assets? Simple. The regulatory obligations governing transactions in securities make it impractical to use them in many ordinary commercial or peer-to-peer transactions. Digital assets need to flow freely from user to user over a blockchain to enable the exchange of value and information. But with the movement of securities occurs within a framework designed to protect the investing public, in which intermediaries who facilitate trading in securities or hold them for others are subject to pervasive SEC oversight. This framework was not built to govern simple commercial activities like a purchase of service. Shoehorning these activities into the securities regulatory apparatus would increase their costs and complexity to the point of being useless, or at the very least uncompetitive with existing alternatives. And so the binary model followed by the SEC in recent years, asking whether a digital asset is an investment contract and bringing the entire securities regulatory scaffolding crashing down on it if the answer is yes, is not the only way the agency can think about a framework for regulating crypto. There are surely some aspects of the securities laws, like incentives for clear disclosure, that perhaps ought apply to the sale of an investment contract, crypto. But other parts, like channeling all secondary trading through regulated intermediaries, cannot apply to many digital assets without wholly defeating their utility. Through notice and comment rulemaking, the SEC can use tools Congress has already given it to develop a textured model for the regulation of investment contract digital assets, which it cannot do through the regulate by enforcement method. Members of the commission staff have thought long and hard about this already. While many expect stepped up enforcement under the incoming administration, it would be a lost opportunity for crypto regulation to continue with the hardline enforcement first approach. Certainly the SEC should continue to make clear that raising risk capital for business propositions is subject to securities laws. In his early tenure as the CFTC chair, Gensler led that agency through a notably robust rule-making agenda. In the years since leaving government service, he has developed deep crypto expertise through his work with MIT Media Lab's Digital Currency Initiative. In order to give desperately needed certainty to the development of one of this century's most promising new technologies, and to prevent further shoving blockchain innovation outside the nation's borders, let's hope that in his new role, Gensler makes it a priority to rationalize the application of our securities laws to crypto. That, my friends, was nicely done. Well said, nicely done, my friend, very nicely done. Interesting stuff, guys, interesting stuff. So there we are. How much have I missed? I took a little nap. Daniel off. Yeah, we're wrapping up, my friend. So just interesting stuff. We covered what's his name, Glenn Hutchins and Brad Garlinghouse on stage at Davos in 2019. They pointed out the real issue going on in the United States ultimately is this upstart fintech company is looking to disrupt the incumbents and their significant cash cow that they got going on with all the fees that they're allowed to charge, and how this technology can put an end to all of those fees. And then we talked the bigger picture with George Gammon, who's talking about what the IMF is ultimately looking to do, which is to put in an ESDR using crypto in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And that plan A or plan one might be with the central banks using CBDCs, but ultimately the IMF would like to have an ESDR, an ESDR. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a long read, but I thought it was important to really go over that. You know, I think it's really, and I am going to make a point mixed to go more over that Flare, because it is powerful. Make sure you check out the Flare Community YouTube channel. It's really, really good. He does a really good job. So there it is, guys. And I just love that guy's perspective. I hope it resonated with you, and it can really, you could tell that he is upset and what would happen. I mean, clearly he's upset with what Jay Clayton did. And why would they do it on the last day? I do like the fact that he mentioned that it really speaks more to an inside rift amongst the commissioners on whether to do it or not. And Clayton just said, I'm in charge. I'll do what I want. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a cool hang for sure. Listen, guys, never forget this. Old money doesn't want you to win, right? But it's all good, though, because this is our chance right here. The digital asset space is our chance to win, guys. Hodl strong, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. See ya. Bye.